And since I've already cheated and selected the song I want to play for you, all I have to do is turn on the automatic changer, which will shift the rack around and pull up the disc I've selected. Now this is without electricity, and this machine actually goes back to 1903. So I'm going to open the doors at the top to let you watch the disc come up, play. This is the comb that's going to read all the perforations or holes in the disc. The bar will hold the disc back against it so it can be read. Song for Veterans Day.
Yeah, exactly.
And what was that song?
Stars and Stripes.
Stars and Stripes Forever? By Sousa. Yes, exactly. And we like to play that disc for a couple reasons. First of all, it's a copper disc, which makes it newer than some of the other discs that are in the bottom of the cabinet made with a combination of metal alloy. When the museum here opened in 1948, the building was not air conditioned, and some of those older metal discs suffered a lot of corrosion and rust along some of the contact points. So they play, but they might skip a section, and they don't make as good a contact with the comb as that copper one does because it's newer. So it functions better. The other reason we like to play that disc is because it is John Philip Sousa, and he happened to be a favorite of Henry Flagler's. And you know who Henry Flagler is. I call him the man who invented Florida. And Mr. Flagler had many dreams for our state, and one of them was to build beautiful hotels, and you are standing in the second of his grand hotels. This was the Alcazar, opened for business in 1888, and featuring things that were not in any other hotel at that time. In the back of this building was the world's largest indoor swimming pool. The area above our heads was all about exercise. There was a sauna, a steam room, a massage parlor, and a gymnasium. And the third floor was the ballroom. If you've not been up to the ballroom yet, you will see it's a grand room that's oval-shaped, and it surrounds the old swimming pool 3 floors below. So make sure you walk over to the balcony and look down and realize that you are looking at what was once the world's largest indoor swimming pool. It was 120 feet by 50. The cafe now sits where the deep end of the pool used to be.
Great place to eat.
Yes, it is a great place to eat. Thank you for the advertisement. They serve every day from 11 to 3. And if you've been in the museum, take your ticket. They'll give you a 10% discount on your lunch down there. Okay. Well, the hotel existed until 1931. The Depression came along and it had to close, and that was not only a disappointment to visitors from the north who came here, but it was a disappointment to the people of St. Augustine, because the hotel was available for them to use as well. If you lived here and you wanted to come and swim in that grand pool, you had a quarter, you could do that. They'd give you a towel and off you go. And in the back of the building there were tennis courts and a bicycle club, so there was a lot to do here. And it was a shame when the Depression forced its closing in 1931. But back to Mr. Flagler and Mr. Sousa. John Philip Sousa was a frequent guest to this town, and when he was here, Henry would invite him to play up in the ballroom. He particularly enjoyed Sousa's music. Can anybody guess why? Well, he could actually hear it.
Oh.
When Mr. Flagler was at the point in his career where he was building hotels along his railroad line, he was up in years. His hearing wasn't what it used to be. And so if there were just soft violins playing up there, he didn't catch all those sweet, subtle notes. But he most definitely could hear the brass and the percussion and the rhythm of Sousa's band. So he really enjoyed it when he played upstairs. As I said, it was a disappointment to the town when the museum, I keep saying that, the hotel closed in 1931. And Mr. Leitner didn't come on the scene until 1946. He came to Florida originally for his health, and he ended up staying across the street at what was then the Ponce de Leon, Flagler's first hotel. And when Mr. Leitner looked across the street and saw this beautiful Gilded Age hotel, empty, vacant, he realized it was big enough to hold all of his collections. So he bought it and began moving his collections down here. But I'm not going to tell you any more about Mr. Leitner. I'd like you to seek out another docent upstairs or out front to ask about him, how he made his money, how much he paid for the hotel, how many times he was married, where he's buried, anything you want to know about Mr. Leitner. They'll be glad to share all that with you, and why he felt it was a good idea to collect things that represented the Gilded Age in America. So check that out with someone else, because right now I have a little more music to share with you on the other side of the room. Anybody have a question?